Do you watch TV? No means TV serials,
No, ma'am.
soaps. No? Then what
No.
do you watch? You don't want TV soap नहीं देखते फिर क्यों देखते हो?
I'll see only series type.
उसी को तो सीरीज का पूछ रही हूँ.
Not serials, ma'am. Series.
सीरीज कैसी?
Mat- Ma'am, I can't. It's not bit audible.
नहीं, सीरीज क्या होती है और सीरियल्स क्या होते हैं?
Ma'am, in English, please.
Oh, I'm asking you what is a series and what's no how what is why it is not a serial and it's a series? What is series?
Serials in Tamil will be a bit boring, ma'am.
Or then see the Hindi soaps. So what is series?
Series just uh, 14 to 15 short episodes, like short serials, like.
But that's still the serial, no?
Okay, ma'am. A short serial.
No, no. In fact, I spent whole of Saturday only catching up with a serial which started somewhere in November and I did not know. I happened to see it on, I think, Thursday and Friday. On Thursday itself, I was a bit hooked. So I decided to catch up on all the past ones. And the only thing I did on Saturday was to watch that soap off and on, back and forth, whatever. But the whole day, and I didn't even realize that I spent a whole day doing just that. And what triggered my interest was the part where there's this man who has who was kind of cheated into donating his sperm, and then he has found out that to whom this sperm has been donated, and this woman has become pregnant, and he's grappling with his feelings as a father. And he is a man who didn't want to have any children, but suddenly he has been forced into a situation where now there is a baby on the way. And of course, because the serial, so there will be always this conflict. It's a romance story, of course. But he asked the mother the question, because everybody talks about motherly love. So he's trying to figure out what it is like to be a father, because he was never happy with his father. He says, what about fathers? What do they feel about their children? And I think that kind of hooked me onto that. And I'm looking forward to at least following it for some time to see whether it becomes more romance or whether they're raising the right questions. And it is also about, and the serial's name is Kahani Story 9 Months Ki. So this woman has taken IVF in pregnancy, which has fallen off with her husband, and she's taken a divorce from him, but she still wants to become a mother. And she had a very bad mother and father experience. So, but for me, that particular serial, the day which I watched it, it was the man who was struggling, a young man who is struggling with understanding what is he feeling. In fact, he should be feeling. So he asked his mother that. So she said, no, and he just says hello, and his mother knows that he's very upset. So she asked him what it is, and says, how do you know that you know what? Just my hello you have picked up that I was feeling bad. So she says, no, because I'm the mother. I know everything about you. But what about the fathers? What do the fathers do? And how do the fathers know? Do the fathers not know what's happening in their children's lives? And of course, the mother says that no, fathers look after the needs of their children. So every single need of yours and the whole family your father has been providing for. So she's making this distinction that fathers are for providing needs, which is stereotypical patriarchal images we have been talking about, and the mothers are there for love and affection. And I thought they were exploring an unexplored area of fathers' love and affection and feelings for their children. So that's what, and when you see something, Hindi serials are really good to understand patriarchal portrayal in those things. You can actually watch them and critically look at them. So the serials are not watched only for purposes of quote unquote entertainment. For us, everything we see, we have to analyze. We saw films and we analyze. You've all heard about the Dangal film? Dangal tha kya naam tha uska? Which was about women wrestlers.
Dangal.
ना. So the tagline was, "Mari chori choron se kam nahi hai." So that was again very patriarchal. Have you seen the film? What's your understanding of the film? What is this film about?
Mom, no, that was a film about wrestling. And father and mother, matlab, mainly father was expecting to have the son born so that he can be a good wrestler and win the gold medal for India. But when after so many efforts, son was not born and only girls, and girls were born after one another. So he made their girls to be a good wrestler like man.
Yeah, so again, it was this sameness approach, taking the men as the standard. Mari chori choron se kam nahi. In fact, one of the singers' sisters had come to the faculty, and one sister could not come, so the father came. And he kept saying that मेरी लड़कियां लड़कों से कम नहीं है. I said, what is this nonsense you're talking about? Have you ever told us that your son is no less than your daughters? Why the daughters have to be like sons? And why they are the standard to determine whether my daughter is worth anything or not? And Dangal story at one level is all about, the motivational father, or we can say the pushing father, which ultimately led to the a good carrier for the daughters. But when you look at from the angle that it was his desire to make, to get the national award, which he could not get, then he wanted to transfer that desire to the sons, and then he pushed that desire to the daughters. So it was all about his desire for the national award rather than the children's choice for that. So at one level, it's a very motivating story about how much hard work has paid and how the father actually worked very hard with them and pushed them to do something which was unprecedented, and looking at all the obstacles in the society. At the other level, it's a very, very patriarchal story. So it's all up to us as to kind of understand and notice the patriarchal streams along with the struggle that people have whenever they're trying to break the stereotypical images. So in this one, he fought the ban at one level. If you look at his commitment to something which he so desired for, that he met every single opposition, right from the wife to the locality to the state level officers and everybody else. But he was just so passionate about it that he didn't care for anybody else. And it was his desire for the son, the medal by the son, if not by himself, which pushed him. It was not the welfare of the girls. It was not that the girls wanted to do it and he fought for them. So, which would have been a different story because the girls wanted to do it, therefore the father fought for it. It was the other way around. So, that's another way to look at when we look at serials, when you look at films, etc. They leave us a very great impact in terms of understanding what is being presented as common, as desirable, as motivational, but what is the underlying theme which is getting reinforced. Therefore, I was asking you, did you see? So for me, I thought it was a great weekend for me. I got to think of certain things which I hadn't thought about earlier. This whole fatherly love and father's confusion about what his role is. Very few serials explore those kind of themes. So I thought it was, even though it was very mushy and typical scenes were there about they're not knowing that they're falling for each other and those kinds of things. I thought the basic theme was pretty interesting. So, anybody who had an interesting story on the weekend with a gender angle? Very interesting story with a gender angle from newspapers, from anything you saw, which you experienced. Just 1 second, there's somebody at the gate. What? 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 Yeah, so tell me.
Yes, ma'am. I am having one issue. Ma'am, recently I read a judgment of Punjab and Haryana High Court, where
Mm-hmm.
Punjab and Haryana High Court given a pension to a wife who killed his husband, own husband,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and he gave it that reply that she is entitled to get that pension. So just
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking, there is no outcry in the society regarding this, and there is no Supreme Court order which is staying this. This is a recent
Mm-hmm.
judgment.
Mm-hmm.
तो ये मेरे साथ इंसिडेंस हुआ जो मैं पढ़ा
You
न्यूज़पेपर
will
में और
have
मुझे
to you
लगा
will have to send us the judgment. We'll read it and then reflect because I've not heard about it in the newspaper. So send it. Let's all read it and let's then reflect back. What were the circumstances in which she killed? Why is it that the Supreme Court is still saying she's entitled to the pension even though she's the killer? So we'll need to read the judgment but first. Do you know? Have you read the judgment? Ramesh, have you read the judgment?
Yes, ma'am. Just it will take only 5 minutes, ma'am. So somebody else is having question, they can ask. Just I will put in. So just I am
No, I'm
searching
saying
and just I will
if you
put
have read the judgment,
because
let
I
us
get
know.
it on my actually WhatsApp actually. So just
No,
I am
no,
just I need 5 minutes only.
no, you have read the message or you have read the judgment. I learned it the hard way yesterday. I also looked at, read the case, the insurance case. The newspaper headlines were very big, saying wives
No,
home
ma'am,
and
it is judgment, ma'am. It is a screenshot of that judgment. So the whole content are there in that actually. So I can share that content also. There is no issue.
you can have
But
only screenshot of a judgment.
yes, ma'am, screenshot of that judgment.
It is only that much that the whole full judgment is just one screenshot.
No, ma'am, two screenshots actually. Two screenshot, whole judgment.
There's a two-page judgment.
Ma'am, let me share, ma'am. I'm just asking,
हाँ
ma'am.
हाँ हाँ. नहीं नहीं
Ma'am,
देखो. No, that I'm saying you that not because the newspaper headlines for the judgment Kirti versus Oriental Insurance, in which we were saying that the judges are no because the newspaper said that now women homemakers work is equal to the husband's office work. That was the headline. And when I yesterday read the whole judgment in detail, I found that there was nothing like that in that judgment. So many a times the newspapers are sensationalizing something which perhaps may not be there at all, or maybe they're in a very different form. It's a good judgment for a different reason. It's it will be important for us to read it that when we reach there. But yesterday I realized that the headlines were completely misleading. So therefore, when we want to discuss a particular judgment, we need to read the judgments. And that goes for all the judgments. And if there's no hue and cry, they may be, because the judgments are given on individual facts and circumstances. So if the individual facts and circumstances have been justified with that judge and everybody feels convinced, that's what the law is. So we'll look at the judgment and then we'll come back to this. So who was presenting today on Kamala Bhasin? I raised this because Kamala Bhasin's basic point is that patriarchy is there all around us. It is institutionalized in everything we read, everything we do, the way we think. It is so much part of us that we don't even realize, and this is how it gets reinforced. So therefore, I was saying that do you see patriarchy functioning around us? In whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we do ourselves. Therefore, this conversation was contextual to what Kamala Bhasin is talking about. Because we've been using this word patriarchy very often, and we will continue to use it through the course. And we said the basic concept of patriarchy is that men are better stationed in life, in the social setup, than women are. And this is an institutional system. It is not that men are saying we are superior. Women are also saying they are superior. The men are superior. Everybody accepts it as a truth. So what are the indicators to say whether the setup is patriarchal or not? And what are the sources of reinforcing and strengthening patriarchy? That's what Kamala Bhasin's article is all about. So who was making a presentation on Kamala Bhasin? CR in this group? Mahip was the CR. Where is Mahip? He's not here. Yeah, because somebody needs to write down the volunteers, and if they're not there, then we know the principal is very clear. Anybody else who has read Kamala Bhasin or seen the video of Kamala Bhasin? Will this be another day of saying, okay, reading done and understood? Was that a hands up, Ananya? You have read.
Read that,
Okay.
ma'am.
Ananya will be the only student who will be holding class with me, and I'll put everybody out of this class today. I used to do that in my physical class, that you have not read, please leave the class. So today I'll have to remove all of you if you have not read. Will read is not tomorrow, it is today. Reading it for another class doesn't work for today. You have the schedule, you do not want to study, that's perfectly fine with me. I've read it many times. I don't want to spend one more hour reading something which I've already read. Everybody else can leave. Ananya will stay.
मैम एक्चुअली हम लोग तो गेस्ट है मैम, एक्चुअली हमारे पास आपका केस मटेरियल नहीं है, ओनली कोर्स
अब तो
कंटेंट
और
है
भी ज्यादा जरूरी है कि आप नहीं आएंगे क्लास में, अगर आप पढ़ के नहीं आ सकते हैं तो।
मैम। एक्चुअली वो कोर्स कंटेंट हमें मिल जाए तो हम पढ़ के आए मैम।
क्यों नहीं? कोर्स कंटेंट कैसे नहीं है? डू यू नॉट हैव एक्सेस टू द क्लासरूम?
मैम क्लासरूम का
क्लासरूम में
एक्सेस तो आपको
लिंक नहीं है, लिंक नहीं लिखा हुआ है जहाँ पे केस मटेरियल है।
मैम वहाँ कोर्स कंटेंट अपलोडेड है जो यूनिवर्सिटी की वेबसाइट है, बट वहाँ पे फुल मटेरियल नहीं है।
आप सुन ही नहीं रहे हैं
तो
मेरी बात। Do you have access to the dashboard of this classroom?
यस मैम।
Do you not have a link there for the Dropbox on which all the materials are? So please leave the class. Everybody who has not read Kamala Bhasin, have not seen the video, please leave the class. Ankit has also read. You can, whoever has read can stay. Everybody who has not read, please leave. If you won't leave, I'll remove you from the class. You want me to remove you? You want me to remove you, or are you leaving? Everybody who has not read or read Kamala Bhasin's article or has not seen her video, please leave the class. Soumya, have you read the material? Manya, Saloni,
Not the material, ma'am, but I have watched the video.
please leave. It's not a question of meeting me. It's a class. It's not a socialization gathering. Manya? Jyoti? Sanyam? Sanyam and Jyoti, please leave the class if you have not read. Or you want me to remove? No, you want me to remove you? Soumya, can I have your video on, please?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, my net was lagging. That's why I turned it off.
Okay. So, on Kamla Bhasin. So, anyone who wants to say something what we have comprehended from Kamla Bhasin?
So she is explaining the entire structures which surround patriarchy and how it is filtered down to and precipitated down to all aspects of life, essentially, that all social, economic, political structures, and there's analysis to that. There's one thing which was really interesting to me was the point on inheritance and economy.
Divyanshi, have you read Kamla Bhasin? Chalo, continue, Soumya.
Yeah, the point on inheritance, so I have read about these inheritance rights and how when we question what the advent of patriarchy was, often the economic value of a person um, becomes the most primary consideration. Wherein, uh, for example, how she raised this point about housewives and how we view the labor of housewives and how it's not considered labor as all worth remuneration, and how economic structures and how people are placed in it, they tell us who is entitled to even civil rights. And the people who may be doing more menial labor, for example, slaves in America, which who were African slaves who traveled across the sea, they were doing this menial, hard working labor. And it's how we viewed the labor which disenfranchised them to enjoy a certain space in society. And those similar principles exist in the paradigm where we consider the woman in that system. And since her labor, if she is not, there was this analysis where since the woman can't do such hardworking labor in agricultural economies, she was given the job to probably look after the house. And but the profit or whatever, like the subsistence activity was allocated to the man. And over time, the value and association of that value uh, was attached more to what the man was doing, and hence the woman took a back seat. So it's interesting how that sort of principle has followed through in all aspects that she is talking about, like religion, education institutions she's talking about, and other uh, specific like legal system, how that all follows through.
Ankit, what's your takeaway from Kamala Bhasin?
Ma'am, it's basically a pamphlet, so it has been written into very easy language, and it is in question answer format. And she divides it into two parts. The first part is as to what is patriarchy, and the second is the origins of patriarchy. And in the first part, she talks about common life examples, how patriarchy affects us, how uh, subtly we accept, even women accept patriarchy. There are many men who practice patriarchy but who do not know that it is a kind of patriarchy. Then she talks about the aspects that men control over women. So it includes women's bodies, that includes their reproductive rights, it includes their movement, it includes their economic powers, and many other things. And then she talks about the institutions that uh, help the state or help the patriarchal institutions in sustaining patriarchy. So those institutions she talks about, such as religion and media and the legal structure and the family, the household, and all those things. Then she comes to the origins of patriarchy, where she talks about the traditionalist view. Also, maybe that is also the liberal view, who believe that it is natural. The distinction or the hierarchy between men and women is natural, and it is as it is, so we cannot do anything about it, and we must go with as it is. And then she talks about the Marxist view that has been presented by Frederick Engels, that we already have discussed. And then there is the radical view. uh, she talks about Simone de Beauvoir. She talks about also, I believe, Shulamit Firestone, the how the radicals explain the origins of patriarchy. And then the difference between radicals and the Marxists is that Marxists believe that the economic structure is that is what shaped the is what led to the subordination of women. So private property came before the subordination of women, but radicals believe that it is not just the economic structure, but it is many other things which are basically part of the superstructure. So those are the most important things that led to the subordination of women. And the socialist feminists combine both those things. They believe that it is not only economic, also it is not only the other things that radical feminists talk about. So it is basically a combination. The socialist school is basically a combination of radical and Marxist schools. And then she talks about patriarchy in South Asia, and how there is not much work to explain how patriarchy originated in South Asia. She talks about Uma Chakravarti in the end. She talks about Gail Omveck, how she believes that caste system is also uh, one of the factors that contributes to patriarchy, and how tribal women and Dalit women are more worse off than middle class women or upper class women in this structure.
That's good. Deepak, have you read the Kamala Bhasin writing? The same question to Pooja Bansal.
No, ma'am.
Then please leave the class. I'm going to share the lecture she gave in Ramanujan College. Did you have a chance of looking at it? Then I will not play, but otherwise I want us to see that.
One question.
Yeah?
How did these good philosopher, great philosopher like Aristotle also believe that women had no soul? They used to give great philosophies about everything. Like we still read their philosophies, but they were the one who used to say that women have no souls. They are mutilated male.
Mm-hmm.
I fail to understand like what was the basis of that philosophy, that understanding?
You know, when this is only in relation to women you're talking about, but you look at the whole construction of, just one second, the whole construction of slave, they were all human beings, na? So how could the slaves not have any of the qualities that human beings have? So we've had these, you can't hear the sound, na? Can you hear the sound?
We can't see it either.
No, ma'am.
You can't. Okay. One second. I'll try to change this is to another sound option, and then perhaps you can hear.
अब मैं आपसे 3-4 बातें कुदरत के बारे में, नेचर के बारे में करना चाहती हूँ। थोड़ा सा ध्यान दें कि कुदरत ने औरत और मर्द में सिमिलैरिटीज ज्यादा दी हैं, फर्क सिर्फ 2-3 है। और आपको मालूम है हमारे अंदर क्या फर्क है हमारे जिस्मों में, और ये फर्क कुदरत ने सिर्फ प्रजनन के लिए, रिप्रोडक्शन के लिए बनाए हैं। इसके लिए नहीं बनाए कि कौन वाइस चांसलर बनेगा तो कौन प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनेगा, कौन मोटरसाइकिल चलाएगा, कौन खाना बनाएगा। कुदरत डाइवर्सिटी पसंद करती है। कितनी डाइवर्सिटी कि दुनिया में 7 बिलियन से ज्यादा लोग हैं, मगर उनमें से 2 भी एकदम एक जैसे नहीं है। और कुदरत डाइवर्सिटी बनाती है मगर भेदभाव नहीं बनाती, वो भेद बनाती है, भेदभाव नहीं बनाती। नेचर मेक्स डाइवर्सिटी बट नॉट हायरार्की, नॉट इनइक्वालिटी। कुदरत ने कभी नहीं कहा कि हाथी चूहे से बेहतर है, गुलाब गेंदे से बेहतर है, मर्द औरत से बेहतर है, या औरत मर्द से बेहतर है। कुदरत के बनाए भेद को समाज भेदभाव में, डिस्क्रिमिनेशन में, इनइक्वालिटी में बदल देता है। और दोस्तों, कुदरत हमें इंसान बना के भेजती है ऊपर से, कोई ठप्पा लगा के ऊपर से नहीं भेजती, कोई लेबल लगा के नहीं भेजती। ये जितने लेबल्स हैं हमारे पैदा होते ही हमारे ऊपर लगाए जाते हैं। तू इंडियन है, तू पाकिस्तानी, तू हिंदुस्तानी है, तू मुसलमान है, तू हिंदू, तू सिख, तू ईसाई, तू बहाई, तू दलित है, तू ब्राह्मण है, तू गरीब है, तू अमीर है। कहाँ तो हमारी इतनी बड़ी पहचान थी कि हम पूरी दुनिया में समाने वाले लोग थे, इंसान, और अब हम छोटी सी अपनी पहचान लेके चल रहे हैं। दोस्तों, दुनिया में जो सबसे बड़ी इनइक्वालिटी है, सबसे बड़ी हायरार्की है, वो है औरत और मर्द के बीच। इस हिंदुस्तान में दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा प्रजातंत्र है। हमने 35 मिलियन लड़कियों और औरतों को खत्म कर दिया, या पैदा नहीं होने दिया, या पैदा होने के बाद हमने उनको मार दिया। पूरी दुनिया में 100 करोड़ औरतें, 1 बिलियन वुमेन, कभी ना कभी जिंदगी में उनको हिंसा का शिकार करना पड़ता है। इससे बड़ा युद्ध दुनिया में नहीं है जो युद्ध हमारे समाज औरतों के खिलाफ, लड़कियों के खिलाफ चला रहे हैं। हिंदुस्तान में हर 22 मिनट में एक बलात्कार होता है। 2 औरतें दिन में किसी न किसी कारण से मारी जाती हैं। 50% पति परमेश्वर अपनी पत्नियों पर कभी न कभी हाथ उठाते हैं। इतनी गैर बराबरी है हम लोगों के बीच में। हमारे संविधान ने कह दिया था कि औरत और मर्द बराबर हैं, मगर हमारे समाजों को आज भी ये बात समझ में नहीं आई। कल हम एक बड़े बलात्कार की बात कर रहे हैं पूरे दिल्ली में, और कल ही रात को एक 20 साल की औरत का फिर से बलात्कार हुआ। हर 20 मिनट में होता है। क्यों है ये गैर बराबरी? एक सिस्टम की वजह से। उस सिस्टम का नाम है पेट्रियार्की या पितृसत्ता या पितरशाही। ये वो सिस्टम है जो मानता है कि पुरुष उत्तम है, सुपीरियर है, औरत इंफीरियर है। क्यों है? कोई लॉजिक नहीं, कोई साइंस नहीं। हम कह रहे हैं इसलिए है, जिसकी लाठी उसकी भैंस है। हम कह रहे हैं पुरुष उत्तम है। और इस सिस्टम में पुरुषों के पास रिसोर्सेस पर, डिसीजन मेकिंग पर और आइडियोलॉजी पर ज्यादा कंट्रोल है। और ये सिस्टम ग्लोबल है, सिर्फ हिंदुस्तान में नहीं है। और दोस्तों, मैं यहाँ आपको साफ बता दूं कि इस सिस्टम के मानने वालों में औरतें भी हैं, और उनको जिम्मेदारी दी जाती है कि बच्चों को पितृसत्ता के पाठ पढ़ाएं ऑडियो विजुअल तरीके से, जैसे ही हम पैदा होते हैं। और एक बात और बता दूं कि विमेन्स मूवमेंट की जो लड़ाई है वो मर्दों से नहीं है। हमारी लड़ाई पितृसत्ता से है। और जो भी पितृसत्ता को मानते हैं, चाहे वो औरत हो चाहे मर्द हो, उनसे हमारी लड़ाई है। अब दोस्तों, पिछले 150-200 सालों से पूरी दुनिया में औरतों को तो ये समझ में आ गया कि ये जो पितृसत्तात्मक सिस्टम है ना, ये डेंजरस है। तो औरतों ने 150 साल से विमेन्स मूवमेंट चला रखा है पूरी दुनिया में अलग अलग। मगर हैरानी की बात है कि मर्दों ने अभी तक इकट्ठे होकर पितृसत्ता का मुकाबला करने की नहीं सोची। हाँ, कुछ इंडिविजुअल मर्दों ने जो नेक थे, समझदार थे, उन्होंने जरूर पेट्रियार्की के खिलाफ आवाज उठाई, जैसे महात्मा बुद्ध, जैसे प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, जैसे पेरियार, जैसे महात्मा फूले, महात्मा गांधी, बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर, सब मर्द थे, मगर पितरशाही के खिलाफ जमकर लड़े। आम मर्द हजरात ने क्यों नहीं पेट्रियार्की के खिलाफ आवाज उठाई? मुझे लगता है शायद इसलिए नहीं उठाई कि उनको पेट्रियार्की से मिलने वाले फायदे जो है ना, वो इतने पसंद आते हैं भाई लोगों को कि वो उसकी बुराई देखते ही नहीं है। अब फायदे आप सब जानते हैं, राजा बेटा आ गया, कुल का दीपक आ गया, घर का वंश चलाएगा, संपत्ति उसको मिलेगी, आजादी इतनी मिलेगी कि वो पूरे हिंदुस्तान में स्वच्छ भारत के बाद भी हर जगह पेशाब कर रहा है। आज भी पूरे देश को उसने मूत्रालय बना दिया। इतना बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन हमारे मर्दों का। पान खा के पीक फेंकने का पूरा देश पीकदान है इन भाई लोगों के लिए। इसके अलावा पोजीशंस देखिए, सिर्फ 51% है हमारे जनसंख्या का। 99% सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजेस, 99% हाई कोर्ट जजेस, 99% वाइस चांसलर्स, सब मर्द बैठे हुए हैं। इसको मैं कहती हूँ स्ट्रक्चरल रिजर्वेशन। 3000 साल से मर्दों को रिजर्वेशन मिला हुआ है, पट्टों को। और जब हमारी रिजर्वेशन की बात आती है तो बहुत नाराज हो जाते हैं। मर्द दुनिया में किए जाने वाले काम का सिर्फ 33% करते हैं, 90% सैलरी पाते हैं, और 99% प्रॉपर्टी पर सांप की तरह कुंडली मार के बैठे हुए हैं। ये आंकड़े मेरे नहीं है, इंटरनेशनल लेबर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। तो फायदे तो बहुत हैं दोस्तों, मगर थोड़ा सा ध्यान अगर दें भाई लोग, और भाई यहाँ काफी बैठे हैं, क्या पेट्रियार्की जैसे औरतों का बैंड बजा रही है ना, वैसा ही बैंड वो आपका बजा रही है। जरा ध्यान दीजिए। आप 6 साल के हैं, आपकी बड़ी बहन 20 साल की है, आपको कहा जाता है जा दीदी के साथ चला जा, उसकी सहेली से किताब लेने जाना है। 6 साल का चौकीदार या जासूस कि मम्मी मम्मी लड़के से बात कर रही थी। अब चौकीदारी करनी पड़ेगी पूरी उम्र, कभी बस से ले आओ, कभी स्टेशन पर छोड़ाओ। फिर रोने नहीं दिया जाता आपको, आपकी मां गुजर गई, लड़कों को रोने नहीं दिया जाता। इमोशनल कैस्ट्रेशन, वो नहीं कह सकता कि मुझे डर लग रहा है, वो नहीं कह सकता कि ये मैं काम नहीं कर सकता। मर्द है, उसको सब कुछ आना चाहिए। इतना इमोशनल कैस्ट्रेशन दोस्तों कि वो इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस से वंचित रह जाता है। एक लड़की को प्यार करता है, लड़की मना करती है कि वो उसे प्यार नहीं करती, उसके ऊपर एसिड दूसरे थे। पार्किंग के लिए एक दूसरे पर बंदूक चला रहे हैं। अमेरिका में हर 2 हफ्ते 3 हफ्ते में कोई लड़का 16 से 18 20 साल का बंदूक उठा के 5 10 15 को खत्म कर देता है। आज तक मैंने नहीं सुना कि किसी लड़की ने बंदूक उठाकर किसी मॉल में या कॉलेज या स्कूल में जाके ये हरकत की हो। और आप देखते जाएं, कपड़े जो आपको पहनाना समाज पहनाता है, आप देख लो सारे या सफेद या काले या ब्राउन, मतलब इतनी बोरियत फैलाते हैं मर्द पूरी दुनिया में, मतलब रंग आने ही नहीं देते। अब हम लोग हैं, कभी साड़ी पहन लेते हैं, कभी सलवार कमीज पहन लेते हैं, कभी पतलून पहन लेते हैं। कौन मर्द का बच्चा है जो साड़ी पहन के यहाँ आके दिखा तो दे जरा। और यूनिडायमेंशनल बना दिया पेट्रियार्की ने आपको। पैसा कमाने के अलावा बाय गॉड आपको कुछ नहीं आता, ना सिलाई, ना कढ़ाई, ना बुनाई, ना पापड़ बनाना, ना खाना बनाना, ना बच्चे पालना। एक चीज आती है, पैसा कमाने की मशीन बन जाना। लेकिन इस सबसे ज्यादा खतरनाक जो मुझे मर्दों के लिए लगता है कि पेट्रियार्की ने आपको आपकी इंसानियत से अलग कर दिया। कोई 16 साल का लड़का छोटी लड़की का बलात्कार कर दे, कोई मर्द औरतों का बलात्कार कर दे, 50% पुरुष अपनी पत्नियों पर हाथ उठाते रहें, गालियां देते रहें, सड़क पर चलती लड़की को छेड़ने में टच करके जिसको मजा आ जाए, ये कोई इंसान है? धर्म के नाम पर बलात्कार करे दूसरे धर्म की बेटी का, अपने शरीर को हथियार बना ले। मैं अंदाजा नहीं लगा सकती कि किसी लड़के या मर्द को किसी अनजान लड़की को छेड़ने में मजा आ जाए। मैं जिसको नहीं जानती, मेरे दिल में उसके लिए सिर्फ इज्जत होती है। दोस्तों, अगर आधी दुनिया इंसानियत से परे हो जाए तो लाजमी है कि 100 करोड़ औरतों पर हिंसा होगी। हर जगह घूम रहे हैं ये लोग। अंदर बंद किसको किया जाता है? औरतों। क्या मर्द ऐसे पैदा होते हैं? जी नहीं, ऐसे पैदा नहीं होते। उन्हें मैन्युफैक्चर किया जाता है, उन्हें ऐसा बनाया जाता है। कौन बनाता है? घर वाले, माँ बाप। और आज आपको बनाने वाली, पहले तो धर्म मनाते थे, पति परमेश्वर है। एडम साहब की स्पेयर रिब से ईव मैडम पैदा हुई। अब आपने देखा होगा लोगों को स्पेयर रिब से पैदा होते हुए। हमने तो सबको एक ही रास्ते से आते देखा है, और वो रास्ता आप सब जानते हैं। इस पेट्रियार्की के कारण हमारे परिवारों ने 35 मिलियन लड़कियों को खत्म कर दिया। ऐसे परिवार में खुशी हो सकती है, बराबरी हो सकती है, प्रजातंत्र हो सकता है, मैं नहीं मानती। लेकिन खुशखबरी भी मेरे पास है कि बहुत से मर्द अब समझ गए हैं कि उनका बैंड बज रहा है, कि अब आज की लड़की पति परमेश्वर पसंद नहीं करेगी, आज की लड़की बलात्कारी, हिंसात्मक, माचो लड़के नहीं ढूंढ रही। पति परमेश्वर की जगह वो एक जीवन साथी ढूंढ रही है जो हाथ में हाथ मिलाकर चले, जिसको कन्यादान देकर उसको घर में भेजा जाए। तो मैं आपको अपने जीवन से बताऊं, मैं और मेरे भाई ने मिलकर रक्षाबंधन के त्योहार को रीडिफाइन कर दिया। भाई भी मेरे साथ थे, बोले बहनें भी तो आज लड़कों की रक्षा कर रही हैं हर तरह से, तो भाई बहन को राखी बांधेगा, बहन भाई को राखी बांधेगी। भैया दूज का नाम भैया दूज क्यों है? क्या बहन के बिना भैया दूज हो सकता है? उसका नाम क्यों नहीं बदलते? उसको भाई बहन दूज क्यों नहीं कहते? हम बदलते हैं और दोनों के तिलक लगता है, दोनों की महिमा का गुणगान होता है। हमारी माँ गुजरी, भाइयों और बहनों ने मिलकर अंतिम संस्कार किया। हम भी अपनी माँ के शरीर से जन्मी थी और हम नापाक बिल्कुल नहीं है। मेरे भाई इसमें मेरे साथ शामिल थे। आज स्कैंडिनेविया में दोस्तों मर्द 3 महीने 6 महीने की पैटर्निटी लीव लेकर बच्चे पाल रहे हैं, क्योंकि उनको समझ में आ गया कि सिर्फ प्रोफेशनल सीढ़ियों पे ऊपर चढ़ना जिंदगी के लिए काफी नहीं है। अपने बच्चों को छाती से लगाना, अपने बच्चों को प्यार दे पाना, 104 टेम्परेचर में बच्चा अगर पड़ा है तो उसको ठंडी पट्टी लगाना और बचाना। आज सिर्फ लैपटॉप्स अपनी लैब में मर्द नहीं रख रहे, बच्चों को भी अपनी लैब्स में उठा रहे हैं। आज मर्द चाहते हैं कि सिर्फ कॉर्पोरेट खिचड़ियां ना पकाएं, घर पे खाना बनाकर घर वालों को, बच्चों को, सबको खिलाएं। पूरी दुनिया के 70, 80, 90 देशों में आज ऐसे ग्रुप्स हैं और ग्लोबल लेवल पर एक नेटवर्क है जिसका नाम है मेन एंगेज। तो दोस्तों आज मर्दों को समझना है कि जब तक औरत आजाद नहीं होगी, मर्द भी आजाद नहीं हो सकते। मर्दों को समझना है कि उन्हें लीडरशिप लेनी होगी पेट्रियार्की के खिलाफ, अपनी इंसानियत बचानी होगी, घरों का सुकून बचाना होगा, घरों को मोहब्बत की बगियाओं में बदलना होगा। मर्दों को समझना पड़ेगा कि सारी रिसर्च ये कहती है जहां जेंडर इक्वालिटी है वही देश पूरी तरक्की कर पाए हैं और कर पाएंगे। उसके बिना कोई देश आगे नहीं बढ़ सकता। मर्दों को समझ में आना चाहिए कि जेंडर इक्वालिटी एक जीरो सम गेम नहीं है कि औरत को फायदा होगा, मर्द बेचारा खत्म नहीं। सबके लिए ये विन विन सिचुएशन है। और मर्दों को ये भी समझना चाहिए कि मेन ऑफ क्वालिटी आर नॉट अफ्रेड ऑफ इक्वालिटी। तो मर्द हजरात से मेरा ये कहना है कि पावर के पीछे ना पड़े, पावर ऑफ लव को समझे, मोहब्बत को समझे और ऐसे परिवार बनाए जहां लड़की और लड़का दोनों पन पे, ऐसे समाज बनाए जहां पर हम सब सड़कों पर निकल सके, संविधान की इज्जत करें हम सब, जो वो कहता है कि हम सब बराबर हैं। और अब दोस्तों एक बार फिर इस तस्वीर को देखिए और अपने दिल से पूछिए, क्या दिल है मेरी आत्मा, मैं औरत हूं या मर्द हूं? थैंक यू। Three announcements. I am a feminist and I do not hate men or women who are not feminists. I am a feminist and I laugh.
Now you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We don't know what happened to Ankit. He disappeared.
Ma'am, it showed that he was removed from the meeting.
I do not know because I did remove another person, Jyoti, and then I found also. Then I sent him another mail telling him to come back and join. And I sent a message and he hasn't. So I do not know whether I made a mistake or something else happened. But there were two names which were not of Ankit, whom I had removed. So anyway, so okay, what do you think about this video?
There's this school of thought where, there's a lot of insistence on trying to convince men that, they will also benefit when we take down patriarchy. It needs to be taken down because it affects all of us. So there's this debate, right, where do we focus on the oppression or the structure of it, or should we focus on the oppressor while addressing the problems that we face in front of us? And a lot of the times, like, I also find myself really trying to convince a lot of my guy friends that, I'm a feminist, but I don't hate men. And I find that really exhausting, and I just feel like I should not have to do that. If feminism, I think it's supposed to make them uncomfortable and challenge their status quo. And it is going to be a challenge for them to adjust to a new way of things, probably. And so, because a lot of the emphasis on her speech was also like how men have been dehumanized, etc., which is obviously very important when there's any discourse about patriarchy and while taking it down. But the intention was that she was trying to convince men that, hey, that we are in this together. But we're in this together in a very disproportionate manner. So I don't know how I feel. So it's a bit of a conflict for me also. So, like, how to approach the conversation with a man about feminism. Should I try to appease him? Because a lot of the time it feels like appeasement. So this is the confusion or conflict that was renewed.
No, because for me, it's more that we have to have conversation with both.
Yeah.
For a long time, we have been having conversation about women, by women, with women. And that leads to a lot of conflict. And we assume that the oppressor would want to change things because they are the oppressed ones. And I'll tell you a story from my own life. At one point of time, it was only me and my father were living together. And I had hired a maid to do the household work, including cooking. My father wasn't very comfortable with that aspect of it. He'll keep on finding some faults with cooking and all that. So I realized that it is basically he wants me to cook. That, okay, let's have a deal. That I'll buy vegetables, you will cut them. So that's your job, and then I'll cook them. Because my only reservations about cooking is that, I don't want to spend all that time just cutting the vegetables. Everything else I'll do. So I said, okay, fine. So the deal was carried on, and he would come from his clinic in the afternoon, and I'm at the faculty. So I'm not seeing him work, but yes, he would do the work. Then one day at home, when I came back from the faculty after classes, and also I cooked the food and we all both ate. And then for some reason, he hadn't done his job during the day. So he took out the vegetable from the kitchen and he started cutting. And I was sitting there with my, feet on the stool and watching TV. And I felt a guilt that, now that I'm not doing anything, I can as well do it. And then I had to restrain myself. that, okay, it's today that I'm sitting here and watching TV while he's working. But that is every day that he watches TV and I do the kitchen work. So it's okay. I had to restrain myself from saying, no, no, main kar deti hu. So this is something retraining ourselves also. Because he was not objecting, he was doing it, but I had to restrain myself in doing that. Then another day, some guests came, and my cousin's wife was also there. So he passed on the vegetables to her to cut. I didn't say anything at that point of time. Later on, I did tell him that she's also come for a break. So I didn't let her do that work. Of course, I took it away. And I said, Nani, it's a chutti, so don't do it. But then I had a conversation with him saying that, look, when guests come, there's more work for me to do. You pass on your work to her, I will not let her do it. So ultimately, it is coming back to me. That was the last day. He never ever kind of, he also learned. I think he was very open to that suggestion. So for me, it is important to have conversation with the other. How do you do that conversation will depend on what you know about that other person. There were lots of conversation I had to do with my father because I was the youngest. I had never done any housework. And he was the normal traditional men in the family who had never done any homework. There were lots of instances, small instances. So when the arrangement was that I am to look after him and there's no other woman or nobody else was there, just two of us were living last 5 years of his life and he's kind of 70 years. So he's not done any of the kitchen work ever. So I said, I can look after everything else, but your morning breakfast is not my cup of tea because I work late at night and then I sleep. I don't want to be bound myself. He said, no problem, I'll do it. And breakfast only meant we have to boil milk, put it in the glass, make sugar, and give him 4 biscuits. There was nothing else, no elaborate breakfast. But for me, the timing, he was very punctual with his timings. So I said, no problem. Then one day said, today milk overboiled. Then another day, he was pouring it well, it kind of didn't go into the glass. A third day, he burnt his fingers picking up the thing. So every day, because I never done this work, so he was facing trouble. It was a moral dilemma for me. Then I thought what to do because I was very clear that long term, this is not going to work for me. My whole schedule will be upset. Then I thought, okay, milk cooker. So I bought a milk cooker and everything was taken care of. So one has to do lateral thinking rather than giving in. But this cannot happen unless the other is also listening. The other will listen if they're convinced that there is importance is listening. For my father, his relationship with me, he cared a lot for me. And therefore, it was important for him to listen to me and then do the needful. And because he was listening also, not that he wanted to, he was listening and responding. It was easy communicating. But without communicating, I would have ended up in the second, nahi, ab itne bade hain, inko kya kehna hai, jaisa chalega, dekha jayega. My mother had died, my sister got married, my brother wasn't living, my sister-in-law wasn't here. So it was the two of us who had to negotiate. The negotiation was possible because the first commitment was to each other. And then to have conversations. So in that sense, I think that talking to the other in the language they can understand, they can relate to, they can see the benefit of all, including their own. I think that's what, in my understanding, Kamala Bhasin is emphasizing on that. Most of the time, when you look at gender justice courses, these are women teaching the courses, women who are attending the courses. And the law faculty, we've been very fortunate to have boys also in our classes. In fact, initial first batch, I said earlier also, I had only 1 girl and 5 boys in my first batch, 6 students. And that was huge. And although, of course, everybody was very kind of enamored with the course. And from there, we've come a long way. Today, this year, we've got more than 100 students in the course. But without having conversation with the other, you can't change. The society is not divided into men and women for all interaction purposes. We all live together. And if we have to live together happily, we have to talk to each other. We'll have to stop 3-5 today.
Along with that, I agree to Soumya that we actually have to tell our male colleagues sometimes that what feminism is all about. But I agree to you that sometimes I have literally sat with them and have to explain them very normally, just like Kamala Bhasin. She was talking very calmly. She was just telling them the basics. Ki acha ye hai, aisa hai, bahut hi basics. So I literally have to sit with them and then talk to them, and I hope they have understood. They obviously they told me that they did, but there is one barricade they have just put up in front of them, that they know everything what feminism is all about. That they कि नहीं उन्होंने बना लिया है कि नहीं feminists and these women are exploiting men now. So in one of the classes, not this class, I actually ended up because I was free. So there was this class happening of different subject, same gender justice. So I attended that. So the first question of that class was, ma'am, why there isn't a feminism and there is a feminism? And I fail to understand how to address that question, because that is a very basic question, ma'am.
No, that's a very simple one. Because men don't need an ism, because everything is about them only.
It's about them, and they have the audacity.
No, because that's the question. When we'll come to the feminist jurisprudence, we have very nice. I'll show you. I think maybe I'll share that article. It says that why there is no men jurisprudence, why only masculine jurisprudence, why there is only feminine jurisprudence, feminist jurisprudence. And the simple answer that the jurisprudence which is presented is actually masculine jurisprudence. So the same way when we say whoever is talking about everybody, but it is actually talking about only men. So jurisprudence law is also talking about men only, so they don't need special law because they're made only for them. Women have to fit into those classes, into those categories, which men have. No, we have to stop today, 3.7. We'll talk tomorrow. We continue tomorrow.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
I guess Sumit didn't mark her attendance.
Today there were only 4 of you I'll mark. Soumya, Ananya, and only 3, na?
Ankit. Oh, thank you, ma'am.